All right, and hello everybody. Welcome to Montana State University's admissions application help session. We're really going to go over anything and everything in terms of the application process to becoming a bobcat and really getting that process started. So first of all, we're going to start off with learning a little bit more about Montana State University. Our enrollment here is 16,249 students. We have a very traditional college campus setting. Of that, about 14,420 of them are undergraduates, which actually means that we draw a lot of attention to the undergraduate students. We put a lot of efforts towards those students, and again, making us have a traditional college campus. Of our student population, about 50% of our students come from out of state, but we're also the top choice for Montana students, which I think is super important to say, especially today as I'm talking to Montana students. We have more Montanans enrolled here at MSU than any other university in the state. However, with about 50% of our students coming from out of state, you have this cool opportunity to get to meet different people from all across the country, learn about these different perspectives, different values, and different traditions, all while you're right here on campus. Now, MSU is super cool in the fact that we have all the support and community of a smaller university. We have small class sizes, a small student-to-faculty ratio, really making sure you find this community academically that moves with you all 4 years you're here at MSU. On the other side, we also have all the opportunities and perks and benefits of a larger university. You're never going to get bored here on campus. There's always going to be something for you to do, whether it's participating in one of our 300 different clubs and organizations, going to different events, or even watching our Bobcat athletics compete in different games and stuff like that. But really, how do you become a bobcat? How do you start that process? It all sounds really great, but actually becoming a bobcat is pretty simple. We are on a rolling admission with no hard deadlines, so you can actually submit your application anytime throughout your senior year. Now, typically, our application opens up the summer before your senior year, and we encourage students to have it submitted pretty early in their senior year, around October, because that's when other applications start opening up. But again, you can submit your application anytime throughout your senior year. So if you're still waiting, maybe waiting on another decision, or maybe MSU's kind of that second thought, you can still submit your application anytime. We also have no priority commitment dates. We never ask our students to sign the dotted line and say, yes, I'm attending MSU. We want students to be able to move through this process at their own pace. We want them to feel comfortable moving through that process and taking those next steps. Our application doesn't look for any supporting materials. We don't look for any essays, no transcripts, no letters of recommendation. And for fall 2021, we're actually even test optional. So we're not even looking at test scores for admission purposes. Our application is very straightforward, very simple. All you have to do is report some self-reported academic history. As long as you meet one of our admission requirements, a 22 on the ACT or an 1120 SAT, ranked in the top half of your graduating class, or a 2.5 high school GPA, we can actually admit you into MSU. Now, for our Montana students, we have waived that application fee, so there is no cost for you to apply into MSU, and you get a decision within 2 to 4 weeks. So you'll hear back to us on whether or not you were admitted as an MSU student pretty quickly within 2 to 4 weeks. Now, moving on, how do you find our application? Well, the best way to apply to Montana State University is going to our admission homepage and clicking apply right up there in the top corner. It's right there. We're not part of any kind of other system. The best way to do it is just online through our website. And now we're going to kind of do a live demo of that application, just so I can show you really how simple and quick our application is. So we're going to just walk over to this link. You're just going to click apply. And once you get there, it's going to ask you a few questions. We want to know how you're going to apply, whether you're applying as an international student or U.S. student. We want to ask a few questions before we kind of get you to the next step. So I'm going to walk through as applying as a U.S. citizen, and I'm going to apply as a freshman student. And it's going to take you into our online application. Now, it's going to ask you a few things, your name, social security number, as well as your mailing address, just some general contact information, some parent guardian contact information as well. Then it'll ask about your citizenship, just a little bit of time there filling out those questions. Then they'll ask about your education goals. So if you're wanting to enroll, when you're planning on enrolling here at MSU, whether it's fall 2021 or beyond. Now, if you're choosing a term other than fall 2021, we're going to ask you why. We're going to ask if we can have a little bit more information on why you're choosing to select later than fall 2021. Then, of course, we'll have you indicate your area of interest. Now, this isn't a hard commitment to a certain program or anything like that. We can change it, but just so we can send you some academic departmental specific information, kind of in emails and so on and so forth, we want to just kind of collect what you're interested in studying. Moving on, we'll ask, if you are a Montana student or if you're an out-of-state student, and then some military status. We'll go through just some general contact information, just really kind of collecting all of this, just general information on who you are. After that, you're going to click Save and Continue, and you're going to move on to the academic history. This is where we're going to look at high school information. If you've taken any college or university classes, if so, where you took them from, how many credits you earned, and so on and so forth. We're also going to ask you about ACT and SAT. Again, remember, for fall 2021, we are test optional. So if you have those test scores, you can send them to us. However, if you don't want to send them to us or if you don't have them, it's not a requirement. You can just mark no that you did not take the test. Now, moving on, we're going to just go into that kind of just general submit topic up at the top. We're going to look at some just safety questions. These are required for our application just to make sure we're admitting students in safely to Montana State University. So you can kind of walk through those, answer those questions, read through all the policies and agreements, and then you're going to mark the box that says, yes, you agree with this, yes, you've read it, and then you're going to submit your application. Takes on average a student about 10 to 20, 25 minutes. Again, it is pretty quick and simple in that sense. Now, moving on. One thing I forgot to mention with the application, let me go back real quick. One thing I forgot to mention with our entire application, with those requirements, we can admit you with the 2.5 GPA, ranked in the top half of your graduating class. We don't require any essays or letters of recommendation because we're a land-grant university. We are dedicated to providing higher education opportunities to any student who seeks it, regardless of opportunities you may or may not have had. So again, we're just looking at that self-report academic information. Now, once you're given an admission decision, if you're admitted, you'll be given your student ID number. And you're going to use your student ID number for a lot of different things throughout your 4 years here at MSU. Kind of the first main thing is to claim your net ID and to log into your admissions checklist through the MyInfo student portal. MyInfo is a great resource where you're actually going to register for your classes. You're going to see your tuition bill. You're going to see any scholarship offers. It's going to be kind of a central hub for information while you're here at MSU and while you're an MSU student. But you need to log in to see your checklist. Your checklist is everything we need from you before you actually enroll at MSU. So it'll show your application, it'll show your test scores, scholarship offers, financial aid, housing, orientation, and then any kind of transcripts we need. Again, as I mentioned, our process is completely non-binding. We have no hard deadlines. However, this checklist is a living document that you can refer back to and things that we will need from you moving forward in that process of becoming a Bobcat. If you need to help logging into your MyInfo student portal, this is kind of generally what it's going to look like. We do have a web page that walks you through, but essentially you're going to click this you're going to click this claim/reclaim net ID, and you're going to use your student ID. And I know there's two different IDs. They kind of get a little confusing. Essentially, your student ID number is a dash and then 8 digits, and your net ID number is a combination of numbers and letters. You do need that net ID to get logged into MyInfo. And this is, again, generally what it's going to look like. Once you have your net ID, you'll log into MyInfo with that. Awesome. Moving forward, there are just a few other items we will need from you, again, kind of before finalizing that process. One thing to note, we don't ask for your unofficial high school transcript before you apply here at MSU, but we will need it after you graduate high school. It needs to be sent directly from your high school to the Office of Admission. Once it touches your hand, it becomes completely unofficial, so make sure you just request that it gets sent to our office from your high school. After that, we will need you to send us any transfer credits. So if you have AP, IB, dual enrollment, anything like that, send those our way because we can transfer them over. And if you're curious about how they transfer over to MSU, we do have transfer guides online. Essentially for AP, the general reminder is that as long as you score a score of 3 on the test, we can transfer it over. For IB, it's a score of 4 on the HL exam. We are starting to accept some SL exams. And then for any college classes, essentially as long as you pass the class, send us the official transcript, we can accept that over to MSU. But if you want to see how those classes all transfer over, go view our transfer guides online. One other thing you may notice on that checklist is your health and immunization records. We don't require these by any specific date, but we do ask our students send those to us at least 2 weeks prior to their orientation session, because we can't have you enroll without those records. So make sure you get those sent to us so you can actually enroll in your classes. You're not going to send those to our office. You are going to send those to the University Health Partners office, and you can mail them, fax them, email them. You can submit them through an online portal. There's multiple different ways you can send those records to us. One other thing, I mentioned it a few times, submitting your test scores. That is completely optional. We're not looking at that for scholarships or admission purposes for fall 2021. However, if you have them, we are asking that you send those to us so we can use them for math and writing placement. If you don't have them, we do have other ways to place you in those classes, but if you want to send them our way, make sure you use our school codes and send them directly from the testing agency to our office. And finally, if you're getting any scholarships or if you've had any scholarships offered to you, make sure you're getting those accepted. Just complete our scholarship apply form. It is super easy, super straightforward. Again, non-binding. However, it does reserve that scholarship amount to your name. So it keeps that scholarship offer kind of connected to you if you choose to attend MSU. Other than that, I'm happy to walk you through the application. Any specific questions you have on our application, you can reach out to us by phone, email, you can go to our website, you can also text us or go to our social media. We are happy to get any of those questions answered, whether it's about your application or just those next steps. We're happy to get you through that process. But other than that, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.